So what we had here is we need to add extra hard drive in here, right? What we did was dev/sdh. Okay, so we added this drive, but before that what we did was we determined if the disk is available. So when we did lsblk, and what we saw here is the disk over here. If you see a disk is just sitting there and it doesn't have attached LVM here, that means, in fact, let me just open this up here. Okay, so lsblk. So right now, okay, there is another disk available here. If we need to, we could add it in here, okay? But we didn't do that. So what we did was we need to add SDH, which was 24 gigabytes, and we added it to pvcreate. When you run pvcreate, what it's doing is it's making or formatting or preparing the drive for logical volume, okay? But then again, there is a space here. It doesn't tell you where it belongs to. So what we did was we did volume group show. And if we wanted, we could add it to the root volume too, rel or ZMPT. So most of the time, this is all set. You're not going to make any changes, anything like that. All you're going to have to do is just make a change in here. So what we did was, we did VG extend ZMPT1. This is where we got our information. And what are we extending with? We are extending with SDH. So when you ran that, it was successful. And the volume disk is now bigger in size. So another 26 gigabyte is available. So what we did was, we need to extend the database. Okay, so database, most of the time you're going to deal with the database team anyway. And these guys are pretty big. So database, wow. Well, you got the idea here, I mean, how this works. Okay, so the database is about 36 gigabytes. And all these things are being used by this volume group. Underneath that volume group, these are the physical disks. Okay, SDE, SDF, SDG, and SDH. And this time around, we don't have to do format the XFS file system. Why? Because it's already formatted. All we're doing is we're just growing the XFS file system. And there you have it. Okay. Anybody practice this and have any questions regarding this? Okay. Nobody practiced? Okay. Well, here's the thing, guys. I mean, this is really important. I cannot stress enough how important this is for you to be able to know. Okay? All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to delete um, logical volume and volume group. So if the server is getting decommissioned, for example, you have a task to remove everything, right? So I'm going to follow that up and delete all logical volumes, LVM, logical volume and volume group. So what is going to happen now is, I've been working in this for a long time. I never had to do this, okay? Even if you're decommissioning the server, all you have to do is just do it from the VMware side. You just have to delete it. It's gone here. But I'm going to show you how to do it anyway over here. So first what you got to do is you have to go into VI ETCFS tab and remove whatever you're doing in here. So delete all this. Delete, 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 delete. Okay. And I'm going to save and exit. So I'm going to say delete entries from ETCFS tab. Okay. Then the next step, what you have to do is you have to unmount it. You have to do df-h and you have to unmount all these drives here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is umount and let me see mount -a. If I could do mount -a, since I removed it from ETCFS tab, what is going to happen? So it didn't remove the file system here. What if you did umount -a? Okay, so okay, looks like we may have done this. Okay, so since we removed it from the ETCFS tab file, whatever file system you have in here is unmounted. Okay, now, so the ones we got error message here, these are all the file system which are being used here, or which are being used and which are in the ETCFS tab. So don't worry about it. So you should be good here. Only files inside ETCFS tab is left now. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do now is do this and So now if I'm removing everything here, I'm going to clear this and I say ls blk. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this here. I'm going to remove all these volume groups here. So the command to do this is lv remove, okay, and then the location. So before that, what you have to do is you have to find out the file system name, blk id, and if you see this here, you're going to remove everything that is under ZMPT1. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the command is lv remove and then the full path. Okay? And it's telling you, do you want to do it? Yes. Or what you could do is you could do this too. LV remove and then the asterisk, anything that is matching ZMPT, and then it will remove that for you. And do you really want to remove finance? Yes. It's going to ask for HR? Yes. Database? Yes. So all of them are gone. Don't be doing this on a production system, okay? Don't do that.
So Elvai,
Yeah.
I can't able to access the server.
Oh,
Says no route to host. Me and Akram also.
okay. Let me check.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, let me check. Anybody else is having problem other than you guys? Okay. Okay, it's turned on now. For some reason it went down. Anybody else is having issue? Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Akram. Okay, so okay, let's move forward here. Okay, so now if you do LSBLK, okay, you see the logical volumes, what we have done is gone. Okay, I didn't delete this one here because this was not logical. If you want, you could delete that too, no problem. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do VGS, and we have four disks here, right? ZMPT 01. We have 4 disks that were added in here, one of these 4s, and the total is about how much is it? 68 GB, and 68 GB is free. So right now we still have the structure of volume group ZMPT1. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that out too. Okay, so for that, all right, give me 1 second here. Why is this taskbar? All right, so now I'm gonna say remove volume group. All right, this is a simple task. What would be the command? VG remove. VG remove. Volume group remove ZMPT01. And it's gone now. Okay. Now let's take a look here. PVS. PVS. Now it also shows still here that even though this is not part of any volume group, but this drives are still formatted for logical volume. Okay, these are all still formatted for logical volume, so we're gonna get rid of that too. All right, so the command to do it is PV remove. Okay, so what I'm going to do is PV remove, PV remove, and I'm going to say dev/SDE. Now that I have 4 in 4 of them here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add all 4, giving a space. And it says labels for the physical volume has been successfully wiped. So now this is once you run this, there is no point of return unless you have a third-party backup. Somehow you're doing the backup here. All right, so this is the end of logical volume here. So the major chapter is over. Okay, please take your time and spend some time working on this so that you would have a good skill set, and this is going to be really good when it comes to the interview and all, and this is exactly what you'll be doing at work. Okay, trust me, most of the things I showed you here is what you're going to be doing. Okay, so the next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you disk duplicate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear the screen, and I'll do lsblk, and I have this SDC here, right? This is something like you're using uh, so you have this disk here, SDC, and what you need to do is, this is, for example, if this is getting corrupted or something is happening, what you want to do is, if you want to clone this SDC to another disk here, for example SDF, what we could do is, we could definitely do that here. Before that, let's mount and see what we have on there. I'm going to say mount /dev/sdc1, and I'm going to mount it onto accounting. I'm going to go inside accounting. I'll do ls here. Okay, there are no files on this here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create about 100 files in here. Touch file, let's create 1000 file, and if I do ls here, I should have about 1000 files here. Okay, so what just happened here is, I'm going to tell you what happened. lsblk. So what we're going to do is, we have this disk SDC1. What we need to do is, we want to make a duplicate of entire disk, including the file system. So there is a command, built-in command, that tells us that this file, this disk can be replicated or cloned. It's going to be an identical copy. So what you're going to do is, dd, it's a command, and what you have to do is, input file, if equals input file, and for us, which one is the input file? dev/sdb. Okay, no, SDC, and I'm going to clone this to SDF. Alright, so when you're going to clone this, make sure the size is the same size or bigger. Okay, so if it's smaller, then it's not going to work. It has to be same size or bigger. I'm going to do dev sd. My screen is freezing. Okay, dev sd f. So what will happen in the background is, whatever the file system, the partitions, whatever happen, it will replicate over here. And then I'm going to hit enter. One thing I forgot here is, you guys could see my screen fine. It's freezing. Okay, good. dd input file SDC, and I'm going to output file to SDF. Okay, let's hit enter. Okay, it's going to take a few minutes here. All right, so what I'm going to do is, this duplicate is built-in utility. For duplicating or wiping the disk. Okay, so what we have here is dd is a command. Okay, if equals input file. Input file. So we are telling the system which file to take it as input. I think I mentioned one time everything inside Linux is files, right? Even the devices attached to the Linux are managed as a file. if equals /dev/sdc and of equals output file dev/sdf. So of equals output file. Okay, so let's see here. We got this output here, and let's see what it's saying. Kind of went fast. So what it did was it copied over it found this many number, it copied over this many number, and then total is probably that's what is coming out to 4.3 GB, 4.0 gigabytes copied. Okay, so what it did was it copied everything structure by structure. Okay, if I do lsblk, now take a look here closely. You know how earlier it was just like this, and now it has a little SDF in it too. We didn't run any other commands, did we? We did not. Okay, actually let me copy this part here. After the command has ran, you see here SDC and this part, and SDF this part, it's exact duplicate here, but this one got an extra 2 gigabytes of space there, but the partition is going to be 4 gig here. Okay, so on this disk, since we are doing the exact copy here, the SDF1 is going to be 4 gig. It's not going to be more than what it's already here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this SDF onto another file and see if we have a data in there. And actually the system unmounted itself. Did you guys notice? When it's doing the copy, it unmounted itself. And if I go into /accounting, and if I do ls, and if I do wc, there's our 1,000 files in there, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount /dev/sdf1 and I'm going to mount it to HR. And if I go into CDHR, what should I expect here? Anybody? Uh-oh. We don't have any files left in there. Okay, let me go back in there. The files are not there. Oh no. I'm going to run this all over again, okay? So what happened was, when I mounted accounting, it wasn't mounted properly, so I have to mount it again. Mount /dev sdc1, and I'm going to say accounting. Now I'm going to go into accounting, and if I do the ls, there is nothing. Okay, there are 1,000 files there. It's not mounting actually. Do you know why it's not mounting? Because SDA was not mounted, I think. So let me get out of here, and let me run the mount command again. Mount. Let me mount it somewhere else. I'm going to mount it to finance. You know what I may have done is, when I unmounted that, I think I messed up something here. VI etc fs tab, and so you're supposed to have 3 in here, right? What I'm going to do is, so I have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All looks good to me. I'm not sure why it's giving me a problem. So let me just restart and see what happens. Okay, give me one moment here. Which one was missing? SDA. Yeah, SDA is there. T TMPFS. Okay, so this was missing. No, that was there too. This was missing. dev/shm. Yeah, this was missing. I wasn't aware that you need to have this here. So even though these are not in the etcfs tab file system here, these are automatically reloaded by the kernel, the operating system inside the Linux operating system. It does some stuff on its own in the background so that the system is running. Okay, so when you're troubleshooting things like this, you just have to remember some of the stuff. It automatically is there in the background. So let's try mounting it. Let's do our, this is supposed to mount, and this is supposed to mount also, okay? Okay, the finance is not mounting. I mean, the accounting is not mounting. I don't know why. Oh, it's my mistake. So you mount again. What is going on over here? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount SDF1 to finance. Bad super blocks and all that. What is going on? Okay, let me run the command again. dd command. Let's see what's going to happen.
Were you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just waiting for this to complete. Okay. All right, it's completed. Let's see here if it's going to work now. Umount accounting. Okay, actually it's my bad here, guys. So let me mount it again and let me put 1000 files in there, okay? Then we're gonna run it again and see what happens. Mount, come on, come on, come on. SDC1. Okay, now I'm gonna go in there, accounting. If I do df-h and the period, okay. So if I do ls here, nothing is there, right? So I'm gonna create 1000 files. Touch file 1000. This command will create like 1000 files, file 1, file 2, as such, okay? And I'll run this command here. So there are 1000 files in there. Let me get out of here and let me do df-h. Accounting is still mounted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the dd command one more time. We'll see here. I never had so much problem with this command that I'm having now. So one more time. Third time is a charm. Let's see if it's going to work. Okay. All right, come on, system, work for me. Okay, accounting is still mounted. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do mount slash dev slash sd f1 dev finance. Wrong file system tag option head.
Zafar bhai, do you have to update the FS tab files?
No, the fstab file we removed the what we removed from there. Let's go in there.
I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but could it be because the SDF1 UUID is the exact same as SDC1's UUID?
Yeah, that's a good observation. But it worked. It worked last time though.
Hmm.
I mean, I've done this many times and it wasn't giving problem. You were in the last class. It worked. ETCFS tab. Did I remove too much stuff from here? All right, let's see what is. So you know what you're gonna do? Put in Google, okay? Don't be embarrassed of putting in Google because everybody Googles it. Okay, and let me put it in here. Okay, let's run this here, FSCK. File system check. File system check. SDF SDF1. Let's do XFS underscore repair. Error the file system has. Specifies the files needs to be processed in. Hyphen F uppercase L.
So, X, if we get stuck like this, will there be any help for us?
Uh, the best help would be your teammates, and if they can't help you, then you come here. Okay, what you do is you come here and you log into Red Hat. Every big company they have a subscription with Red Hat, and you will get access to. Okay, you log in here, and you will open a ticket. So what you do is, I'm not sure if I'm be able to do it here. Log in. All right, so I have my subscriptions here. Okay, over here it says open a case, open a support case. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so the one version I have is a free version, individual version, but the version you would get with when you start working, that one has a subscription. You know that your company would be paying big chunk of money for Red Hat, and they will help you. In fact, you would end up doing a WebEx, or they'll send you a solution or whatever. Active subscriptions. Or else what you could do is, before you open the case, what you could do is you could search in here also. Okay, so whatever the error code you have, so the error code was in Google. So where did it go? Okay. Now I'm going to search it in here. They have a database here, and they will tell you if somebody had a same problem and it's a verified solution or not. Let's take a look. So that thing is not matching. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the end part of it. All right, I'm going to remove this part too, because that is specific to us. Okay, Red Hat product has been okay. Mount wrong file system bad. Says subscription required. Let's see if I could get in there. Okay, resolution. The file system type should be correct in etcfs tab. Diagnostic. Let's do this here. Since I messed it up, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy etcfs tab file from another system and bring it here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna exit out of here. And I do a history. And let me get out of here 110. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to another server, which I have here is 150. Okay, let me connect to 150. And I'm going to say cat etc fs tab. What am I missing here? Ooh, look at it. The swap is missing, isn't it? From the fs tab we had earlier. etcfs tab. No, it's there. Actually, everything looks good. Okay, and I'm not gonna mess too much with this. So let's take a good 20-minute break. We'll come back at noon Central Time, and then from there I'll decide if we're gonna stay with this topic or we're gonna move on. Okay, the break starts now. Try this on another system and see if it's gonna work. If not, I'm gonna move away from this. Okay, so I'm in a different system here. Let me clear this. df-h lsb. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now is let me create a file system on SDB or SDC here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is fdisk dev/sdc. Okay, I have to be root. Alright, this is just the file system creation. Okay, I'm using the fdisk command. Let me see if it's gonna work. I'm gonna say new. Okay, and I'm gonna do lsblk again, and I'm gonna do mkfs dot ext4. Okay, and then I'm gonna say dev slash sdc1. Okay, okay, so I'm gonna say dffnh. No, I'm gonna say lsblk. So I have sdc1 here, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mount it. I'm gonna say mkdir slash data is a file name, and I'm gonna say mount slash dev slash sdc1. I'm gonna mount it to data.
Why your screen getting stuck?
Oh, the screen is getting stuck. Okay, let me stop and start again. Can you see it now? I have dff and h in data here.
No.
It's not working. Okay, so I'm gonna go to cd data.
It's fine.
And I'm gonna say ls here, so it should be just lost and found. I'm gonna say touch file Okay, so I'm gonna clear this. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna unmount it. I'm gonna unmount this time and see what happens, okay? Now I'm gonna do dd. This duplicate input file is gonna be if equals dev slash sdb sdc actually. Dev slash output file sdf. Okay, all right, let's see what happens. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is mount. Let me create mkdir slash new data. Okay. lsblk. So you see SDF is there, right? So let's see if it's going to mount. Cross your fingers. Mount dev slash SDF1, and I'm going to say new data. It mounted. Let's see if the data is in there. There you go. See? So what happened here is dd command, what it did was we tell them to copy this disk and copy it here. And when we did that, it did an exact replica. It did an exact replica, and the data, the file system, all that structure carried over to the new place here. What if we mount that dev slash sdc1 and we mount it to data? That mounted to cd data, and if we do ls, and we have 1000 files here. All right. Any questions? Let me explain you one more time. Okay. What we did was we used the dd command. dd is the disk duplicate. What it does is it stands for disk duplicate. That means it duplicates the disk. That's the primary purpose. And when we did if, that means input file, and this is a source. I should say source here, and this is destination. Okay, dd is input file, this is source, and this is a destination. Okay, when you do that, what it's going to do is going to copy all the structures of that disk into the new disk. Okay, now you notice here it copied the structure. It also copied the file system or the partition. It did the same exact replica, but of course the name is gonna give the correct name. Okay, so what if it had two partitions? Would it copy over two partitions? Anybody? Yeah, it will
Yes,
definitely.
and
Yeah,
if it has enough size, it will
Yeah.
carry over.
it will carry over. Very good. So this is just a disk duplicate function here. And let me just put that in here.
So, Mr. Zephyr,
Yeah.
could you explain what the problem was before? Why wasn't this working?
Maybe that when I unmounted everything, it has done something to the kernel. So what I'm going to do is, while you guys are here, let's update that computer, and then we'll check it next time and see what if that problem is going to be there. So this is a really important thing. You need to do updates here. You know what, actually, yeah, let's go ahead and update that system. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run the update command, yum update -y, and hit enter. Uh-oh. It says the subscription manager repository not updated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the subscription manager here.
But you can become a root user and do it, right?
Oh, yeah, very good catch.
Yeah.
So this is one more protection here. A regular user cannot do all this here. But the subscription is not added either, so I doubt it is going to do anything. If the subscription is attached, let me see.
But can you try without even updating the subscription by just becoming a root and see if it works?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, actually the subscription is attached to it. What I'll do is I'll have a little small topic of all this subscription and everything, and then I could go over that in a bit. Alright, so that is going to run on that system here, so we're going to leave that alone. So over here onto one other system here, what I want to show is I want to show you how to wipe the disk. We know how to copy the disk. This is the how to wipe the disk, okay? Alright, so now it's for us to wipe this disk here. So what I'm going to do is, it's simple. dd input file equals /dev 0. Okay, slash, remember we worked on /dev null, right? Now there is one more device already built into the system, which is dev/0. What it's going to do is it's going to write all the zeros onto the disk here, dev/sdf. Alright, when I hit enter, what's going to happen is it will run this command, and then it will overwrite whatever data you have on the system. It will overwrite that data with zeros. Okay, that is very dangerous. Be careful when you do it and how you do it. Okay, if you do it on something really important, it's dead in water. And this command is really good, if you have something to hide, if police is chasing you or something and you run this command, nobody would ever be able to get this data back. So I'm going to do OF equals /dev/SDF, and dd is the command, input file equals /dev/0. Okay. Any questions? All right, so what will happen is, okay, this is the other system. So it's running all the updates here. I'll go over this again. And it's still running in the background here, so we'll let it run. In the meantime, let me start on a new topic. How much time we have? Another 20 minutes. All right, so next topic I'm going to show you is how to crack the password. Okay, so I'm going to say recover root password. I already have this from my previous class here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just demo this and then I'll put this on the slide here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize this, minimize that. So for you to be able to reset the root password, you have to have access to the system, okay? So right now you guys have, if you want to practice this resetting the password, you have to download it. You have to download the VirtualBox and download this VirtualBox here. Where is it? Download number 4 and number 5, which would be Red Hat 8.5. Download it and configure it on your laptop locally, and you should be able to do it. Download this and run it. It will automatically configure, and then download and open this file. It will open with a VirtualBox, and you should be able to run this commands here. So what I'm going to do is I am a system admin, but I don't have access to root here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to restart the system. All right. And when the system is restarting, we're going to interrupt the menu. Okay, so here when you get this menu, it's a drop down. I'm sorry, not a drop down, but it's a countdown, because the system is going to give you a little bit of time, and then it's going to do a countdown. So what you're going to do, you're going to select the first one. It's called grab menu, and over here you see E. Press E to edit the selected item, right? Do you guys see that? So I'm going to do E, and then you get this menu here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the down arrow key, go all the way down here to this line here, Linux. Okay, so the fourth line, which says Linux, then parenthesis $root, all this is one line starting from here all the way to quiet. Okay, so over here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna type rd.break, rd.break, break, and hit enter. I'm sorry, no, don't hit enter. Hit control and X. I have not done this in last 5 years. Okay, so you really don't need to do it, but this is something if you want to go for the Red Hat certification, this is the first thing they will ask you. They will give you the full system. Before you enter the system, you have to crack the system and get in there. All right, so now what you're gonna have to do is you have to type several commands, and I'll put this in the document here. Mount -o, remount, and a comma, read write, rw, sysroot. So you're making the system root readable. So what we did was we kind of entered into the emergency mode and we made the system readable. Okay, now next command is chroot, change root, and you're going to change it to sysroot. And then you're going to type the password command, our good old password command, passwd, and hit enter. So if you're not going to give you the, did somebody notice we didn't have to log in with the password, okay? When it came up here, switch root, is automatically we are logged into the system. I'm gonna put the new password here, enter new password, enter, and the system took the password, we gave it to it. Okay, now the next command, what you're gonna do is, this is really important, if you don't do it, it won't work. Touch space / a period auto relabel, relabel, and I'll hit enter. Okay, if you didn't get any error, that means it worked. I'm going to exit, and I'm going to exit, and here I'm going to reboot. Okay. Alright, it's going to do the things, whatever it needs to do. In the meantime, let me put this here. Okay, so here's a screenshot here. What you're gonna have to do is, when the system is coming up, you have to use any key to interrupt the uh, I'm gonna say use arrow key. Interrupt the countdown and select the first line. Okay, and hit enter. Most of the time first line is already selected. All you're doing is, when you use the arrow key, you are stopping the counter. Okay, once the counter stopped, you use E as in edit to edit it, and you come down to this line here and you type at the end of the line rd.break, and then you follow these commands here. You follow all these commands and reboot. You will be able to change the password. Burhan, have you tried this at all? All right, what is the problem? All right, so it might take a little while before it's ready to log us in. Okay, so it's doing whatever you need to do.
The VirtualBox cannot be downloaded on the phones, right?
No, not on the phone.
Okay.
It's pretty simple. Just download the VirtualBox first, install it, and then run the install the second number 5, and then do it. All you
Yeah, I
have,
have it already on my computer. I
yeah.
can.
So I left the password login as root, and the password is Red Hat, so you shouldn't have any problem. There you go. I was able to log in without knowing the password. I cracked the password just now, and I'm in. So I'm telling you, this is really critical here when you're working into this role. Always be mindful of what you're doing on the system and all that, and never share your password to anybody. Even the manager comes in and asks you the password. And by the way, most of the time managers don't have the password. It's just like separation of duties. They're not supposed to have a password. All they have to do is manage people, not the password management. All right, so I have couple more topics here. I'm thinking, should I continue today or tomorrow or next week? All right, so the class might end next week. If it doesn't end next week, then I'm going to end it a week after. Okay? All right, so anybody have any questions so far? We wasted a lot of time today, but it's not